Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode here on the Perkins Custom Swim Bait channel. In today's video, what we're going to kind of go over is, I've got a tournament tomorrow. I fish with a local club here in East Tennessee. So I'm going to kind of go over my tackle prep and kind of what my thoughts and game plan is for tomorrow. I won't be fishing out of my boat. I'll actually be fishing with a friend. So it's kind of that thought process. If you're not able to take everything, what is something that you put in, like, a duffel or some sort of bag to be able to help you stay organized on the water, as well as still being able and equipped to really fish efficiently. So let's kind of walk through my process and kind of what I'm thinking. Number one, thinking about time of year. We are currently still in the summer. We're in mid-August right now when I'm shooting this video. Our tournament's tomorrow on Saturday. So my game plan is summer months, fish should still be kind of relating more so to like deeper cover. Deeper cover, as well as you should have a pretty good topwater bite in the morning. And then as the day goes on, they are going to probably be relating more to like these deep trees. This particular lake is notorious for having really nice fish suspending in the treetops. So let's kind of break through it, and we'll kind of get into some of these baits as we go, because I'm going to be throwing a little bit of everything tomorrow, as far as the difference between my baits versus some readily available production baits. But before we even get started there, I want to kind of give the overview of the fishing format. So it's going to be a 3-fish tournament, and of this 3-fish tournament, you're only allowed to weigh 1 bass per species. So 1 largemouth, 1 smallmouth, and 1 spotted bass. If you bring in 2 largemouth or 2 smallmouth to the scale, the smallest one gets thrown back, and you're going to still weigh in only 2 fish. So the go here is to be able to think about this from a standpoint of not only catching the biggest bass that I could catch, but at the same time trying to catch the biggest size of each species. So what baits do I have, what baits do I throw and have confidence in that can really trigger and target those types of fish? Secondly, so other than like topwater in the morning, I'm also thinking about the lake level. Lake right now is down. They've pulled a lot of water since our spring rains that we had, which we went well above basically at flood stage for this lake. Well, it's dropped, and it's at least I would say somewhere between 5 and 10 foot below summer pool. We're actually only about 10 foot above winter pool. So we are down significantly. I did look this morning. We were not at this level on this particular body of water until November of last year. So this lake has significantly dropped. There's a lot of pictures kind of floating around on Facebook right now of some really nice fish getting caught. Everyone's kind of keeping it to themselves as to how they're catching those fish, which, you can't try to fish somebody else's bite anyway, but just kind of, at least we're starting to see some of these bigger than average fish starting to get caught again, because it's really been since spring that I've been on a good bite on that lake. So let's kind of walk through this, and let's go ahead and start hitting some of the baits that I'm going to be taking. So number one thing that I am going to take, and everyone is familiar with this, you all have seen me talk about it in my last video, but this is my hook box. This just has an assortment of different hooks, nail weights, everything that I should need to be able to throw swim baits. I do have a few things in here if I were to decide to Texas rig, which, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm even going to take a pack of worms. The tournament's only from 5:30 to 11, so, and I'm only fishing for big fish really, so I'm probably not going to even take a worm. It's just, I have confidence in it, but I don't have confidence in it to catch a giant this time of year on this particular body of water. You know, I know a lot of people would be more so inclined for that. With it like being summertime on like a big lake, like, well, not a big lake, but a lake where they're really good and suspended offshore. You can get them on a big worm. But this lake really does not set up like that. I have caught fish offshore, but nothing to really brag about. No massive size as of yet. I'm still a firm believer that I'll get on them and I will find them, but it's definitely a process. It's not been an easy go trying to find these fish. All right, so let's see. And you know, that's another thing. I'm not really trying to take that much. Only being out there 5.5 to 6 hours, you just don't need as much. You have your favorites, and that's what you're gonna throw. So there's no reason to just take a bunch of stuff just to weigh the boat down. All right, second box, the glides. This lake is very, very notorious for having a great glide bait bite. So honestly, to start the morning off, I'm gonna fish bone. I'm just gonna start out with bone. It's supposed to be a little bit darker tomorrow anyway. So it gives me a lot better of an outlook for tomorrow to be able to really effectively fish bone. I am going to do a little bit differently with the hooks, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. I'm wanting to have a handful of hooks already pre-rigged, so not just throwing normal 1/0 trebles. I'm going to actually run 1/0s, and then I'm going to weigh up a couple of different hooks. At least for that front hook hanger, I want this bait to kind of go nose down and go deeper. That's a big thing right now is, you know, on this particular body of water, I know there's a good glide bait bite. There will be a glide bait bite. I've caught too many fish last year on it to know that they'll be there. But here's the kicker. Number one, I think a lot of people is going to be throwing a glide bait. So I need to put this bait where not as many people are going to be throwing it. So that's why weighing it down, getting it some depth on there. A lot of people are going to fish these in their slow sink type versions, or even like high or, you know, low float, like really, really suspending those baits out or trying to fish them lower. Not wanting to do that. I'm really wanting to try my best to get this bait down, and fishing it, probably letting my partner fish, you know, the bank and the treetops, and then I'll take the ends of these brush piles, fishing this a lot deeper. So we'll get to that. All right, now I don't really think there's anything in here I'm interested in taking. No. Not really. Don't need anything in that. Now, this box might go. Yeah, I think I'll take this box. This is just interchangeable treble hooks if I were to need them. But Now this box is going, and I'm really wanting to focus this box mainly on like crank downs. I'm gonna pull the hooks off of this one. What I want is this bait. As you can tell, look at that giant coffin bill on the front of it. This thing, you know, I lost my previous one, hung it up in a tree. This bait should dive to about 15 foot around where I need it to get to. So that's one. This bait is my standard, as you can tell. That one's the one that's gotten beaten and battered. I am going to take this bait. This is the multi-joint. If they get on a real aggressive bite, I'll throw it some. And then shallow runner crank down. So depending on how shallow they really are. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that is my main game plan as of right now. And I do feel pretty optimistic. Here is the big piece of the puzzle. Is there going to be a really good, like, high in the water column kind of bite? That's the big question mark right now for me. If I can find them in the trees, great. I do not expect to. I'm not expecting to find a single fish, well, a single good fish up shallow. I'm expecting my good fish will be deeper, and deep's relative. What I mean by deeper is over deeper water or around deeper water, where they are continuously pulling water. These bass will move off the bank. Now, there may be a feeding window early in the morning where they'll be up shallower, but even there, I'm expecting it's going to be a little bit of a deeper deal. So, what I'm doing is getting geared up with getting the Jethro already lined up, and this is the Jethro 6.0. That's what I'm planning on throwing. For the most part, I've got some 7.5s with me, but I really want to throw something other than the standard color that I have been, of that purple gizzard. It will catch everything on the lake. I don't have a problem with that. It's just, I think a lot of people will be throwing natural, and I'm gonna go in with a bone. So, that's my rationale. I'm gonna pull these out because I don't want to be taking them. It just weighs down the box. Takes away valuable storage. Okay, so it's pretty well got it. I've got some other baits in here. Don't really plan on throwing these at all, so might as well just take them out. I will leave that in here. Alright. Making sure I just have room is the main thing. You know, hardest thing with all of these big baits is storage. Alright, so now, this is pretty well the baits, as far as the hard baits go. And you kind of see my rationale and my thought process behind the bone now, as to kind of why I'm wanting to throw bone versus some other things. So, I'll be taking the 6-inch whale. I've got a couple coming in. They're supposed to be here today. I'm optimistic they'll make it. I'm not going to take the normal Rising Sun. I'm actually going to take the mag drafts. Both the 6-inch and the 8. The 8-inch will not be coming out unless we've already got a pretty good bag. It's not because I don't think they'll eat it. I know they'll eat it. It's just I also know that my best chance of catching a big one is on this. So I want to have it, especially if they're feeding more so on soft baits. So didn't realize I bought that many top hooks. I have a lot of dirty shad in 316. Yeah, that's 3 of them. I may end up taking those here in just a minute, but I want to go through everything first. All right, here is a perfect example of a bait that is going. This bait I'm not going to start out the morning with, but I am going to have this for later in the day, and that is the Evergreen Shower Blows, that big 150 size. That thing will get thrown tomorrow for sure. I'm taking a spare. All right, take that. Depends on how clear the water is. And what that is just that MB gizzard in the 8-inch. I don't know how clear the water's going to be. I haven't been up there in quite a while. I'm going to take the hooks off of that. Start pulling hooks. So, you know, I have baits that I like that I've built, and I have baits that it's kind of like, well, that is not going to become the crank down. That's kind of what happened here. Is I threw a bill in this. I'm trying to get these baits down deeper. I really want something that can hit about 20. Hard to get a big bait down to 20. I can hit 15. I've hit 15 to 16 on the live scope, so I know I can get there, but it's just a challenge. They're big baits, and you try to get these big baits down there, it takes some really good casts. I'm gonna take that one. So that is a crank down. It'll get to about 9. Do not ever want to leave home without this. Lead wire for this time of year. I'm not going to pack a ton of this. It's just way too much to have to haul. Because I'll also be taking the lead tape, but taking 1 spool of lead wire is not going to hurt anything. So 1 little spool. And like I said, you're going to get to see kind of my game plan with some of these here in just a little bit, as far as what my plan of action is. I'm not even going to take that. Jet black pipsqueak. Jet black. I'll take it. You just never know. I will be throwing the pipsqueak, but I'm probably going to be throwing the white belly. So what I've got here is the 3-inch Mega Bass Hassendong shad. Probably my favorite finesse swim bait, like for ultra pressured fish, and where we do have to actually kind of look for smallmouth and spots a little bit. These things, they just get massacred by those species. I really only throw about 2 colors, honestly. This white, looks like white ice, and then Tennessee shad. That's really about it. Don't think I'd throw it. And you see, I mean, that's one of the big things about going on someone else's boat is like, if you don't think you're going to throw something, why take it? Why waste all of the space? Because, you know, they're going to have their gear and everything loaded. And I do not know where my other mag drives have gone. So I'm going to have to find those. Now, I do not believe that I'm going to need the big rats, so I'm not going to be taking the big ones. I also don't really want to have to haul a giant rod to take those with. So my game plan will be mainly the pipsqueaks for the rat bite. it's just a rat. That's the game plan. Something along those lines. And the main reason that I'm wanting to take like the mag draft is I can get the weighting system in them so well. And I'm not taking many. That's got that. I am going to take, I picked these up. These are the Crush City freeloaders in the 4.5 inch size. I'm gonna take 2 packs of these. Don't expect to need them, but I'm taking them. And then lastly, the sleeper crawl. If I have to drag something, I just as soon drag the sleeper crawl. So I think that's actually got me. And honestly, I think I will. I'll just take the spark shads too. And for as little as they are in weight. And then I do have ghost shad that I take. So I've got a handful of baits that I am still taking, still way too much, honestly. I won't throw it, and I know that, but I take it anyway. The problem that you run into is you never know what the fish are going to be eating if you're not on fish. I'm not on fish. I have not been on fish on this lake. Not since spring, so. This is also what I will be taking, which is lead tape. It's golf tape. I'm going to tape up hooks here in just a moment, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You saw that I'm taking wire. I'm taking both. The main reason there is to me, there's a time for both. And I think that the lead tape is actually a little bit smaller, and you can get more weight with not losing gap space. So stick tight, and we will hop back into this, and I'm going to go find my mag drafts real quick, and I'll show you what else I'm taking. All right, hang tight. All right, so thanks for hanging around. I did find my mag drafts. You know, whether it's brownie, whiteback shad, MB gizzard, doesn't matter. I'm taking all of those, and I will probably end up only throwing one. And as I'd say most people know, and many people that have thrown the mag draft, that color that I am going to be throwing most of the time, unless the sun really gets hot, like really high tomorrow, I'm going to be throwing a lot of albino pearl. I love that color. It's a great color, and it really catches fish. I have caught fish on all 3 species of that bait. And I am going to take some dark sleepers in the event that I drag something. You know, the other thing is like my fishing partner and I, this is the first time we fished together, so you get to learn each other's styles and how you end up enjoying fishing. So, you know, part of this will be certainly just getting to know each other's fishing styles. All right, so that's pretty well got that. Now, let's see, is there any major other thing to kind of dive into? Definitely put me any questions or comments down below. Be more than happy to answer. This is one of the, you know, it's not at all the glamorous or the exciting part of fishing, is the prep and getting ready to go. You know, it can be fun. I especially enjoy doing these kind of videos because I get to talk to you all with my game plan and my thought process. So I do like to pack my duffel to where I've kind of got everything separated. So I'll kind of give a breakdown with that here in just a second. But like your soft swim baits, keeping them together, once again, you're just optimizing your time on the water to where you don't have to go digging through like your bag looking for something. There will always be things that you can't find. Always, that never fails. But you know, when you're looking for something, you're losing time. Okay, and that's really got it. It's that simple. But I know I say it like that, but it does take time. Just the amount of time that we've been out here working, it goes by. Before long, you've got 2 hours working just tackle to go fishing the next day, you know, so it takes time. Prep is one of those things that it's not talked about, but it really will make or break a day of fishing, is if you've got your stuff, if you're prepared, ready to go. So hope y'all have enjoyed. I'm going to do another follow-up. I'm going to film getting the rods ready here in just a little bit. I'll try to put that through a little bit more of a faster pace and talk you through like what baits are going to go on which rods, because I'm only going to try to take about 4. So hang tight.